Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Thursday's edition of the DCEU Daily, part 2 of Thursday's edition of the DCEU Daily, where I'm here to give you the updates from the Batman. We have 2 articles to read. You're well aware by now that this film is huge, that critics have already seen it and loved it, that I've seen the movie and loved it and can't wait to see it multiple times more. With what's going on with Matt Reeves' The Batman universe and him moulding this brand new Earth 2 all on his own, it's very exciting. And then having the DCEU and seeing what James Gunn did in the Peacemaker finale with those Justice League cameos, the DC live action universe is the place to be. So let's talk about The Batman, how Bruce Wayne and Catwoman meet revealed. The circumstances surrounding how Robert Pattinson's and Zoe Kravitz's vigilantes first encounter each other in The Batman have been revealed by Toby Skelton of Screen Rant. The details of how Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne finally meets Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman in DC's upcoming standalone film, The Batman have been revealed. Unrelated to the ongoing DC Extended Universe franchise, they love reminding us of that, don't they? This latest reboot sees the Caped Crusader during his second year of defining the citizens of Gotham City. Should I say defending the citizens of Gotham City and facing off against a new enemy, the intellectual terrorist known simply as the Riddler, who is targeting Gotham's elite population. Directed and co-written by Matt Reeves, the film is set to be the first in a new Batman trilogy. It goes beyond a trilogy, but these people love the word trilogy, and ignite another cinematic shared universe for DC. With plans already being drawn up for sequels and a number of spin-off series. Which means, Screen Rant, you're contradicting yourselves. It's not a trilogy. It's more than a trilogy, isn't it? Anyway. Along with Pattinson's and Kravitz, The Batman boasts an impressive lineup of stars, appearing as friends and foes of the cowl-wearing vigilante. With Paul Dano as the Riddler, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, John Turturro as Carmine Falcone, it looks like the Dark Knight will have his hands full in dealing with the scum of Gotham City. However, he evidently won't be at it alone, with Andy Serkis stepping in as the Wayne's ever-faithful butler, Alfred Pennyworth, and Jeffrey Wright featuring as Batman's GCPD ally, Lieutenant James Gordon. But it's Batman's relationship with the ethically ambiguous Catwoman that has been the primary focus for much of the film's marketing campaign, suggesting that the pair will combine forces during the film despite their disparate moral codes. In EW's latest insider piece on the Batman's, Pattinson, Kravitz and Reeves elaborate on how the relationship between the 2 crime fighters develops throughout the film, as well as the connection the stars themselves form behind the camera. However, the article also provides some revealing details regarding exactly how the pair first meet in the film. It appears that in his search to locate and unmask the Riddler, Batman finds himself at the Penguin's criminal nightclub known as the Iceberg Lounge. It's here where he first crosses paths with Selina Kyle, who's trying to make ends meet by working as a waitress for the mobster, as well as undertaking the odd bit of drug dealing. But it's not until Selina's roommate disappears that the pair begin to suspect they may have to work together in order to achieve their individual goals. This reveal of the pair's first meeting is certainly reminiscent of other first encounters between the Bat and the Cat in previous Batman movies. Bruce Wayne encountering Selina Kyle working as a waitress was also Christopher Nolan's choice for their initial introduction in The Dark Knight Rises, although it was swiftly revealed that Selina had merely adopted the guise of a Wayne Manor servant in order to purloin Bruce's fingerprints as well as his mother's pearl necklace. And Bruce meeting Selina before she becomes Catwoman while he's on duty as Batman is not dissimilar to their first meeting in Batman Returns, in which the Dark Knight saves her life from a clowned arm with a taser. Given these similarities, it may well be that Reeves is paying a subtle homage to the Batman films that have gone before him by having his titular vigilante and Catwoman first meet in this way. It certainly reveals even more details regarding Selina Kyle's backstory and paves the way for further speculation as to how she will head down the path into becoming the feline-obsessed anti-heroine, as well as how her relationship with Batman will develop throughout the film. But with the Batman releasing on March the 4th, fans won't have long to wait to witness that crucial first encounter. So, having seen the movie, I know about this first encounter, so we can discuss it. It's really good. I like the setup to this. I love how they first meet. The chemistry between the characters and the two actors in question is absolutely fantastic. It's electric, but it's really done in a way. Reeves has done this in a way where there's these two kind of, lonely souls in a way, alone in the world, and they need to team up, to investigate something, this missing person. And it starts off like this, but I've explained before, elements of the Batman are a love story. Now that's not a bad thing. Superman the movie had elements of a love story. In fact, Superman the movie, really the central part of that film was the love story between Lois Lane and Superman, and Clark Kent being this kind of underwhelming character to Lois. So, the film doesn't centre around the love story between Selina and Bruce or Selina and Batman, but it's there. The setup, it's there, and it's so good. And the initial scene where they first meet is so awesome. Batman's voice in every iteration of Batman live action has been a thing Stans have been talking about. A lot of people don't like Christian Bale's voice. I think in Batman Begins it's fine. I think they went too far with it in the second and third film. But I can confirm to you that Robert Pattinson's Bat voice is sensational. And if you've seen all the marketing, you've heard how awesome it is yourselves. But here's an article from The Hollywood Reporter talking about the original voice that Pattinson put on for Batman, and Matt Reeves didn't like it. Robert Pattinson says he was asked to change his initial Batman voice. It was absolutely atrocious. Pattinson debuts his version of the beloved superhero when Matt Reeves' The Batman hits theatres March the 4th by Ryan Gadowski of The Hollywood Reporter. While filming The Batman, Robert Pattinson learned that if something ain't broke, don't fix it. The actor who stars in director Matt Reeves' highly anticipated superhero film visited Jimmy Kimmel's Live on Wednesday ahead of the movie's March the 4th release. During their chat, Pattinson told host Kimmel that he initially wanted to go with a radically different voice from the low raspy ones that previous Batman actors have used to portray the Caped Crusader, but alas he was alone in that department. Everyone does this kind of gruff, gravelly thing, and I'm like, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to go really whispery, Pattinson recalled, and I tried to do it for the first 2 weeks, and it just looked absolutely atrocious, and they told me to stop doing it. Oh, it's good that he agreed and he sees the funny side. Although he eventually settled on a deeper, more traditional voice, he later learned he was apparently in good company. I found out from Nick, who was putting me in the suit every day. That's what Christian Bale did on Batman Begins as well, Pattinson said. And if you listen to the first Batman Begins teaser trailer, you can hear the original voice. I only found this out a couple of weeks ago. Wow, Pattinson's a real fan, isn't he? You can tell. Ultimately, Pattinson realised that he was wise to keep working on the voice. You can feel when it feels right, you can put the suit on, and you have to speak in a certain way. The Tenant star went on to share memories of early conversations he had with Reeves about the character. One of the first things that Matt said to me, he's sort of inspired by Kurt Cobain, the actor said. I'm like, really? That's kind of the opposite of what I imagine Bruce Wayne to be. The actor said he then pitched Reeves on having his version of Wayne dress in a late Nirvana frontman signature grunge style, but the director didn't go for it. This led Kimmel to quip, so you had a lot of bad ideas to start with. Pattinson replied with a laugh, tons. And the thing is, I think what Rob made the mistake with the Kurt Cobain thing that a lot of people in the public domain have made, that it's a literal version of Kurt Cobain. It's not. It's in the terms of being an addict to what he's investigating, to being Batman. That's where it is. It's not that he's actually, Kurt Cobain himself. So yeah, that's the article, and I thought that's great. And Jimmy Kimmel actually premiered a brand new sequence from the Batman. Of course, I've experienced this on the big screen. It's a brilliant scene between Lieutenant James Gordon, aka Jeffrey Wright, and Robert Pattinson as Batman. You know, they're whispering to each other. He's asking him about someone else within the department. He suddenly smacks him one and he runs off. And when he's running off, it's so awesome. We see him obviously use his grapple hook to swing up. And the cinematography by Matt Reeves, of course, you would expect nothing less, is absolutely fantastic. Stay here on the DCEU Daily Part 2 as we continue your Batman updates. It's a great time to be a DC fan. Before we finish off today, I wanted to show you this, because this is on another level. This is a moving picture image of Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz, and doesn't it look amazing? We're going to hold this here for a minute. Look at this. This is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Jesus fucking Christ. It's amazing. I really like it. One more time. I love it when they look at us. Oh yeah, we know you're not just acting. That's brilliant. Of course they're acting. I'm joking with you guys. But yeah, it looks absolutely fantastic. I was on a live the other day and someone said to me, what do you think of the marketing? And he wasn't impressed, and I'm surprised at that, because I think the marketing run since like late January has been sensational. Matt and the cast have been everywhere, being so detailed about their thoughts towards the movie and the development process and the narrative process, and Matt's thoughts of why he made this film the way he made it. Stuff like that. Clips, trailers, everything. How can you be disappointed with the way that they've marketed this movie? This year is huge for the DCEU. If you've been a follower of Movies TV Mad and myself for a very long time, I warned you about the year of 2022 and the DC cinematic universe. It would blow up. It's huge. Just seeing what James Gunn, I'll reiterate what I did earlier on the top of the show, seeing what James Gunn did by revealing a cameo of certain Justice League members, confirming that Henry Cavill is still Superman, these are huge things. Buckle up. It's going to be a huge, entertaining year. DC live action is back. And if I was the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'd be worried. This has been the DCEU Daily Part 2. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection, and I'll see you again tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen.